you. Guys, I just came from Liverpool, yeah? And on the train, okay, fans of the Scouser. Okay, I'm going to talk about your people. So on the train, this guy sitting opposite me, sitting in silence for most of the journey, then he randomly goes, "You're the exact kind of girl I fancy. You're the exact kind of girl I'd like to date." And I was like, "What kind of girl's that?" And he was like, "A strong black woman." And that kind of scared me. I'm not going to lie, not the black part, but why do I need to be strong? Like, what are you planning on putting me through that requires strength? So I was like, sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not a strong black woman. Black, yeah, obviously, but strong, I've cried 3 times today. The strongest thing about me is my hairline. Sorry. Anyway, he started laughing in Scouse, and and he was like, "You're dead funny," and I was like, "I hope so," because I'm literally on my way to a comedy contest. And he was like, "Oh, my mate's a comedian, but he's like dead unique because he's autistic. He's an autistic comedian." I didn't know how to tell him, your friend is not as unique as you think. Like, most of the comedians be having the tism. Even me, I got diagnosed last year by a doctor, not TikTok. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked. Not to sound ignorant, but I didn't think black people could catch autism. I didn't. I thought it was a white people thing, like sunburn. But yeah, I wasn't interested in Mr. Train Guy. I was actually dating someone in Liverpool, but I made it weird a couple of days ago. Can I tell you about it? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, right, I'm a virgin, and and when I'm dating a guy and I want to let him know I'm a virgin, I like to let him know through song, because why not? Do you want to hear a bit? Yeah. Okay, I'll do a little bit. Do you want to enter this vagina? First you got to put a ring on my finger. I won't free it up easily. Exclusive punani. I mean, I got a Caucasian version as well, if that will go down well. I don't know. Anyway, so, right, I went on a date with this guy. It went really, really well a couple of days ago. We was going back to his in his car. He has a car. And do you guys know that song, Wet Ass Pussy by Cardi B? Great. So that song was playing in the car and this man's shoulders were going. So I was like, "Oh, do you like that song, yeah? You like the freaky girls?" And he was like, "If she ain't a freak, I don't want her." And I was like, "So what, you wouldn't date a virgin?" And he was like, "Girl, I'm 32, I don't have time to be dating virgins." And I thought, okay, this is probably a good time to sing my song. Don't know what happened though. I got stage fright. I didn't want to scare him off with my hymen. 15 minutes later, fast forward. I don't know why I did that. Oh my God. Anyway, we're in his house. He has a house. And we're in his living room, making out on his sofa. He has furniture. And it's getting a bit like, and then I started to panic because I realised I have not told this man I'm a virgin. So I excused myself to his bathroom, the one that he doesn't share with housemates because he owns his own house. And I started thinking, what am I going to do? Because, I like him, I'm really into him, but I can't just go out there and, have sex with him because if I do that, then I have to change the lyrics to my song. But then I thought, maybe I can, and I do feel a little bit embarrassed, I'm not going to lie, but I'm just going to say it because we're all grown-ups. I thought, I'm a grown woman, maybe I can... You're going to make me say it, fine. I thought maybe I could lick his willy. Because then, we can, be somewhat intimate without me having to change the lyrics to my song. Anyway, I've not done that either, but I just thought, you know what? My best friend, champion Willy Sucker, still in the bathroom. Her words, not mine. I texted her and I was like, "Girl, can you give me some advice? I'm in the bathroom. I'm about to lick Willy for the first time. I don't want him to know I'm a beginner." She was taking too long to respond, and I didn't want this boy to think I was having a poo. So I just thought, I'm just going to go out there, and I'm just going to try my best. Right, so, okay, we're making out on the sofa. This is the most embarrassing part, so I'm going to tell it really quick, okay? Yeah. Tell me to slow down. Is that okay? Yeah. Right. Yeah. We're making out. it's got to the point where Willie's out. It's time for me to do the performance of my life. So I sort of just, I'm here. And I opened my mouth to, and honestly, I don't know why this happened. I don't know how this happened, but I started singing to his penis. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just warming up my throat." And, I haven't seen him since, and bye.
Hi, everybody. My name's Stephanie. I live by myself, alone. And I've noticed recently that a lot of really delightful sounding things, they very quickly sound super sad when you add the word alone at the end of them. My grandma just celebrated her 100th birthday. Alone. This is true, actually. My buddy Roy recently came into quite a bit of money. Unfortunately, it was just alone. No. Living alone is not sad. Aside from the crippling isolation, I do really enjoy it. There's a lot of things I can do living alone that I couldn't do if I have a flatmate. I can leave the flat a mess. I can decorate however I want, and there's nobody around to tell me that my decor style might be what some call racist. I can also, I'm dating, if I go on a really good date, like I could bring somebody back and there's no roommate there that's like, is there a return option? Like, so I can kind of operate with low standards and peace. And so it's great. It happened to me the other day. I went on a date that went quite a bit better than expected. Went for drinks, started kind of migrating back to my flat. And the closer we got, I kind of remembered the Hiroshima level of disaster that I had left. And it was too late, so I kind of ushered this man to my living room, hand him a wet wipe, don't look anywhere, definitely don't touch anything, but make yourself at home. And I don't know if it's happened to anyone where you're just totally unprepared. In those situations, you get exactly 3 minutes in the bathroom before it starts to get weird. And I don't know if you've heard the expression, if you could save one thing in a fire. I sort of had a, if you could shave one thing in a fire sort of situation. In both fires, the answer is usually a cat. So record time, skin the cat, man was still there. Date continues to go well. We start moving towards my room, and again, kind of panic, because this time, for sure, I know it was a disaster. So I tell this guy, "Hold, please," and I go in first, and immediately I see the bottom drawer of my dresser is open, and there's a vibrator in plain sight, which is normal. What is not normal is that it was still on. Kind of pop that away. And then I look at my bed sheets, and I had just ended my period a couple days prior. And this was I would say if John Lewis and Jack the Ripper did a collab, that's what was happening. So I didn't have clean sheets, didn't have time to change sheets, just kind of hopped into bed and anchored myself in a way that I thought was quite seductive, but also covered the fossils of my waning fertility. And usher this man in, welcome. And immediately, both of our eyes go to my nightstand, where I had left a notebook where I jot down jokes before I go to bed. And I had gone on this really terrible date a couple days prior, where the man kept talking about suicide. So I'd written in all caps in this notebook, first date, suicide. So this man looks at the notebook, he looks at my bloodstained sheets, he looks at the poster behind my bed and goes, "That's kind of racist." And if you're wondering, I did still have sex that night, alone.
Hello. So I'm worried I've been single for too long. I've started using niche dating apps. Does anyone here use Thursday? See that? One person is as single as me. This is how single I'm. I'm using largely unheard of dating apps. So Thursday, for those of you who don't know, is like all the other apps, except you can only message, match, and meet up on a Thursday. So those of us who'd convinced ourselves the only thing keeping us single is logistics. No underlying issues with my personality. I think it's the days Friday through Wednesday that are really holding me back. And then my friend introduced me to an app called Field.
Hey.
Any Field users in the room? Some people are very proud to be on Field. So Field is commonly known as like the kinky app. But I didn't know anything about this. My friend sold it to me very differently. He said it's so much more than that. So this amazing sex-positive space where people are into alternative sex, people who are into adventurous sex, can get together and fight against this normative, kink-shaming society. And the moment I knew he was taking an app about shagging far too seriously was when he said Field is to the kinky sexual revolution what Twitter was to the Arab Spring. I mean, in his defense, my feelings about this kinky sexual revolution are actually quite similar to how I felt about the Arab Spring. Totally on board with the politics. I don't think I want to be on the front lines. Nor do I think anyone else wants me on the front lines. I think the moment I knew that Field maybe wasn't the app for me is when you have to enter your sexual desires when you create your profile. So just some examples of the sexual desires you can put. It's couples, group, three-way, being dominant, being submissive, BDSM, watching, bondage. Whereas my profile features the dangerous trifecta: texting, kissing, cuddling. What are we texting about? That'd be the kissing and cuddling. Then my friend told me I had to have something at least sort of kink adjacent in there, so I went for aftercare. I think that's nice. I think that vital, tender care that you need after a particularly intense sexual experience. But I got a response from a woman saying she was looking for someone more emotionally resilient than a man who requires aftercare after kissing and cuddling. So then the next stage on Field, you enter your sexuality. And so again, I thought this is an area where I'm basically too boring for Field because I'm pretty much straight. But then I saw the options. They actually have 3 whole options on Field before you even get to bisexual. So there's heterosexual, heteroflexible, bicurious, bisexual. Now I saw the term heteroflexible. I know it's become a little bit of a cliche to talk about feeling seen nowadays. I'd never seen this term before, and I just thought, finally there's a word for people like me. Straight people pretending we're interesting. But then, what am I saying about myself if I choose heteroflexible out of those options? Like, I'm saying, I will suck dick. Oh, shit. Is that my brother? He's seeing me for the first time. I don't know. It's a little shock. We've never discussed this before. I'll say it again. I will suck dick. But curious, that's a bit much. Or I can have sex with men, but just display absolutely zero curiosity throughout. Have a beautiful man behind me whispering in my ear. Do you like that? I don't know. Never really thought about it, to be honest. So then there's bi-curious. It's the next option. It's true, I have met men who have piqued my curiosity. That has happened. They've just been like objectively beautiful 10 out of 10 men. I don't think that's a sexuality if you fancy women and 10 out of 10 men. I don't know if I fancy men or I just fancy perfect facial symmetry. Sure. Then I guess the main thing holding me back from selecting by curious is it feels dangerously close to putting me under the kind of LGBT umbrella. And I guess from the outside, I've grown to understand the queer experience as to some extent a shared experience, but also like the shared struggle. It's like gay and lesbian people are still imprisoned across the world for their sexuality. Bisexual people face discrimination from wider society and from within the queer community. And trans people are currently victims of a targeted hate campaign by the world's most famous author. Whereas I got a semi watching Drive. Don't think I need a month dedicated to my pride. Cheers, everyone.
So I know what you're all thinking, and you're wrong. I voted Remain. I did vote Remain, but you know what? I'm pretty pleased now when I go to a hotel. I don't have to pretend to consider the continental breakfast. I go straight for the full English. Although, truth be told, I'm having both. I'd like to share something about my family, if that's okay, everybody. I'm an uncle. I'm an uncle. Hey. Oh, well, I didn't do anything to become an uncle. Be pretty sick if I did. I am an uncle, though, and I have a little 7-year-old niece. I like to take her out on little days out, spend quality time with her, but I'm really using her to meet single mums. Because dating in your 30s is really hard, you know. Apparently I'm old enough now to be a sugar daddy. Yeah, but I'm on keto and Splendor Daddy doesn't have the same ring to it. It's not for me. I had a look on the apps as well, and ladies, you're all using a very similar profile picture. You know, you holding a drink. It's like, here's me holding a drink. Here's me on holiday with a drink. Here's me with a drink, yeah. Yeah, we get it. You like hydration? So I live alone. Yeah, I don't actually live alone. I have a dog. He's my best friend. You know, we do everything together. But a man has needs, which is why I keep a jar of peanut butter in the bedside cabinet. And then I like to slip on a VR headset and pretend that he's a better looking dog, you know? You gotta do what you gotta do. So I am using my niece to meet single mums, and it works, fellas, it works, because single mums come up to you when you're out and they go, oh, aren't you good with her? Aren't you good? And I'm like, yeah, it's been really tough since her mum died. What? She died from too much respect and communication in our relationship. But when I take my niece out, she insists we take the bus because she likes to sit at the front and pretend she's driving the bus. But I'm really the one who likes to pretend I'm driving the bus. So we're on the bus, they're at the front, driving the bus, single mums are at the back looking at me, father of the year, everything's going to plan. Until my niece turns to me and says quite loudly, I miss my mummy and daddy. The mood's changed now on the bus. Now they're looking at me, well, who the fuck are you then? Really? I went from hero to pedo in about 5 seconds. Oh, some bloke took his phone out and took a picture of me, you know, like quicker than I could find a drink. Oh, and he's going to post that picture to the local Facebook groups, right? You're on these local Facebook groups. Yeah, the busybodies of the world have found a way to create their own police force, detective agency and car boot sale. And there's some right shit on there. There's this woman who shared a picture of a lost dog from Scotland. I mean, if you find that dog in London, he don't want to be found. Leave him alone. He's finding himself. And there's these home-based businesses that like to advertise on there as well. There's one on there called Eyebrows by Chantel. Eyebrows by Chantel. She's changed it the next week. It's Hair by Chantel. Fragrance by Chantel. Herbalife by Chantel. Chantel's busy. She's like the Elon Musk of our road. She'll be sending rockets up next. Trips to the moon by Chantel. Oh, and there's this old bloke who likes to post pictures of what the street looked like 60 years ago. It's all black and white and there's a horse, right? He's like, oh, those were the days, you know, we used to have to go to the toilet outside and we didn't complain about it. It's like, yeah, Bill, I can oversee your garden. You're still fucking doing it. I've got a right to complain about it. Now, at the end of the day, I like to take my dog for his end of day walk. He loves it. I came back the other day, picked up my phone, and the Facebook group was going mad. It's that bloke walking around here late at night again wearing a hoodie. Very suspicious. I think he's a drug dealer. And then attached to it are a load of night vision pictures gathered from the street's Ring doorbell cameras of me picking up a dog shit. I mean, I wouldn't mind even if I wanted to sell drugs around my way, I couldn't. It's not my territory. You sell drugs down my road, you have to go to Crack Cocaine by Chantel. Thank you very much, Comedy Virgins.
Hi, I'm Beth. Give me a quick cheer if you made a New Year's resolution this year. Yeah, okay, quite a few people. I don't normally bother. This year I did though, so my resolution is to find a boyfriend. Just to be clear, not because I actually want one, just so that I've got someone else's family to spend Christmas with next year. Yeah, Christmas with my family, it had me really reminiscing about those COVID days. Do you remember when you couldn't see your family for Christmas? Oh, that was so good, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. So, hypothetically, what should a girl write on her dating app profile that neither suggests that she's looking for a husband, nor that she will sleep with you after just one cocktail? I'm just asking for a friend. So I joined the apps for the first time last year. I didn't really know what to write, so I just went with something really simple. Nothing too serious, let's do something fun. Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah. Suddenly I'm getting all the messages. This is my entire interaction with one guy. Hey, how's you? That was me. No, obviously that was the guy. Hey, how's you? Yeah, good, thanks. How are you? Yeah, good. Wanna fuck? Oh, wow, okay. I'm not looking for Bridgerton-style romance over here, but more than one sentence would be great. I was talking to this other guy late one evening, and I worked out pretty early on that his entire personality was marijuana. When I told him where I lived, he was like, oh, bro, that's only a 10-minute Uber from where I live. Pull up, let's catch up vibe. It's like, bro, I'm in my pajamas. It's 11:30 p.m. on a Monday. Pretty sure if I jumped in an Uber to your house right now, it wouldn't be a vibe I'd be catching. There's being spontaneous, and then they're just asking for gonorrhea. So I'm going to try and have some higher standards for men this year. It's another New Year's resolution. Yeah, ooh, thank you. It's going so far, so good. For example, I didn't go on a date with this guy. So I was talking to him on Bumble, and when I told him that I was an assistant at an investment company, he went, oh, that's nice. I had a friend who did that, and she kept going, and she did lots of training, and she got more involved as it went along. Wow, okay. Firstly, thank you for mansplaining career progression. I never thought of it that way. Oh, secondly, I didn't join Bumble for careers advice. And I certainly didn't ask for the opinion of a man who had written on his profile 6 foot 8 inches, and that's 2 separate measurements. Yeah. I think the main reason, though, for wanting to have higher standards this year probably came from the last date I went on towards the end of last year. So it was this Canadian guy. He seemed nice over message. We were talking, getting along. We were talking about the fact that I did comedy, and he was like, ooh, am I going to be your next Tinder disaster story? No, please don't be. Maybe just don't do anything weird, and I won't have anything to say. But he was really weird, so I'll tell you about it. So he was a pilot, which I thought, great, that's a really good topic of conversation for a first date. Yeah, great. If I wanted to listen to him list all of the countries in the world that he hated and why, it was a long evening. He talked about himself in the third person. Yeah, just every now and again. Fred thinks you have really nice eyes. Fred's having a really nice time. Yeah, he seemed confused when I found it difficult to take a compliment when it had been delivered in that manner. No, I'm not being shy or coy, you're being a little bit creepy. No, but the weirdest part of that whole date, it was actually after we'd gone back to his hotel and had sex. Yeah, that is the reason for needing higher standards. Afterwards, he said that his co-pilot was staying in the room next door, and he therefore thanked me for not being too loud. No hint of irony. He hadn't given me a reason to be loud either time. But yeah, no, even after all that, the grossest thing was I went into the bathroom, saw that he hadn't unwrapped the little hotel soap packet. So just all day, hadn't been washing his hands properly. I swore to myself right then and there, I'm only going to have sex with this guy one more time before I get out of here. Thank you very much.
Hello! How y'all feeling tonight? Good! You feeling good? Yeah! What's your name? I am not going to remember any of that, but hi, I'm Oz. And one thing you probably don't know about me just by looking at me is that I'm a schizophrenic. I know I look so well adjusted, but as the old saying goes, man dressed like he's ready for the tropics, chances are he's on antipsychotics. A lot of people struggle with mental illness, and I'm no different. But I think what's best to do is to talk about it with anyone or anything that will listen. Now, I live alone, so my options are pretty limited, but thanks to the schizophrenia, inanimate objects talk back to me. Spoke to my sliding door about this, and he said I was unhinged. Spoke to the fridge, he said he was actually unsurprisingly chill about the whole situation, as opposed to the freezer in the garage, a bit cold and distant. Spoke to my douche and my hairdryer at the same time. That was no good, just blew a lot of hot air up my ass. But yeah, it's hard being schizophrenic. It's hard dating as a schizophrenic. I was dating this one person, but they left when I said I was seeing other people. It's also hard having a MILF fetish as a schizophrenic. Yeah. Everyone just calls you a crazy motherfucker. Yeah. So I'm single. So I'm single and have been for a while now, but walking, talking red flag that I am, I'm doing things a little differently on the dating apps. Pretty much what I do, I go on Tinder and swipe right to every single person. And if anyone I match with, I ask, do you have any weird or disgusting or funny stories about Tinder that I can turn to poetry in the style of Chaucer? Ooh. Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool. But they're not very good poems, mind you. I definitely put the sexy in dyslexic. Slow burner, that one. So I've got a poem for you tonight. It's only a short one. It's called The Tale of the Initiate. Are you ready for it, people? Yeah! Good. Then I'll begin. Listen here if that way you incline. This next one happened to a friend of mine. And as surely as picturesque houses oft come with white picket fences, this story has some terrible and life-changing consequences. Cast your minds back to the year 2010 when our protagonist Claire was studying medicine. When she matched with a fellow, let's call him Paul, a barbarian class with broad shoulders, standing nearly 2 meters tall. They chatted, they met, they went unto a club, and merrily they began to grind and rub. And to Claire's place they went backsy. Hell, Paul even paid for the taxi. Off went their clothes, and for a night their bodies did entwine. I'm not writing porno here, you pervert, so I'll save time. And though they mutually agreed they may have no future, you best believe they tried every page from the Kama Sutra. Both spent, they collapsed, and sleep soon came, for the roars of lust's passionate beast had been tamed. But listen now, for the story has been said that Claire awoke in the middle of the night to find Paul shitting on the bed. Squatting low, perched on the side, his pasty cheeks out sagging, while he pinched off a mighty and repulsive chocolate fudge dragon. What the fuck are you doing? Yelled the terrified Claire, but Paul grabbed his things and got the fuck out of there. Now, he would have got away scot-free if he had been so wily. But if you're going to crap in someone's room, don't leave behind your student ID. And if at your uni disciplinary hearing, your excuses used to come to the peer pressure, don't be surprised when they kick you out for being in a WhatsApp group called Fuck a Fresher. And turns out there were 7 other people on that WhatsApp group, and all got kicked out of uni for showing pictures of their poop. Pick up a girl, back to hers, take a poop, send a pic, all as part of some sports team initiation. Ugh, makes one feel sick. Here endeth the tale. Have I offended? Think but this and all is mended. If you thought they were heavy-handed with Paul, pray ye to the Holy Trinity, because nothing good can ever come of this level of toxic masculinity. And what of our heroine Claire? No need for applause yet. Save the applause. What of our heroine Claire? Did she finish uni? You bet your ass. My girl Claire, who's married now, graduated at the very fucking top of her class. You can clap now if you want. Thank you very much. Thank you. I've got a whole book of those poems. If you want to buy one, I've actually got a bunch with me, a bunch of books. They retail cheaper than your standard holy texts on Amazon. So, do with that what you will. Anyway, my name's Oz. Vote me on number 5, please. I want to win this plastic crown. It would look great on my head. It would. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Good night.
Hello. I'm not going to lie, I was a bit nervous to be here tonight, but then my mate said, you'll be fine so long as you're not opening. So it's It's really great to be here, guys. I started a new job recently. Thank you. I know, employment in this economy. But I'm not gonna lie, I was quite nervous at first because it was my first ever corporate job, right? So there was all this corporate jargon I didn't understand. I remember so clearly being sat down by HR and being told that the person that tells you what to do on a day-to-day basis, they're actually called your line manager, which was so embarrassing because I've just been calling her a fucking bitch for the last month. Bit of a blonde moment. But no, now I'm 6 months in and I think I've started to find my feet. I'm actually worried that I've started to get a bit too corporate, right? I'm not sure if anyone else finds this, but I was talking to my mum the other day and she said that I've really changed the way that I speak, which, fair enough. I did tell her I'd circle back to her text on Tuesday, but does feel a bit rich coming from the self-same woman that once asked me if I wanted to go for a drink at Alberoni. And when I asked her where she meant, she pointed across the road to, I shit you not, an all bar one. Mum, we're in Clapham, all right, not the Amalfi fucking coast. But no, now I'm so corporate, I'm worried that it's starting to kind of affect my personal relationships. Now, the only way I can come is if I listen to the theme tune from Succession, which is a bit of a turn off, a bit of a turn on for some people. But that's what you get for picking people up from Infernos, too much money, not enough love as a child. But now to get off, instead of porn, I just watch compilation videos of Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson talking about crypto. Which has the added benefit that I'm fucked both by the patriarchy and my dildo. I say dildo, it's just a rolled up copy of the FT. I just love capitalism. Some people know Adam Smith as the father of modern economics. I just call him daddy. I started dating recently. My favourite dating app, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's called LinkedIn. It's pretty underground and it's really great because it's got all these filters. So I just filter out all the men that work in recruitment because I've got some standards. It's not a real job. Says the comedian. But and yeah, I find dating quite hard because I'm not saying that I hate men, although I am strongly implying it. But if I had a penny for every time I've been sent an unsolicited picture of a dick, I'd have 20p, which, admittedly, not a lot of pennies, but it's lots of pictures of dicks if you think about it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against dick pics in general. I'm a fan of Picasso. I've taught myself to like things that are objectively unattractive, but being sent a dick pic out of the blue is a bit like when your mum tells you to do the washing up, I was gonna do it anyway, but now that you forced it upon me, I don't know, kind of somewhat less inclined. Do you know that sending a dick pic without permission is actually a crime? Yeah? Oh, that's the face of a man that's just learned he's going to prison. Sorry, it's the beard, but what can you do? But yeah, catcalling, that's another thing that's a crime. I'm working with you, not against you here, right? Here's a pen, you might want to write this down, actually. So catcalling, it's a crime. And I'm going to be honest, I've never really understood people that think catcalling's a compliment, right? Because the state of things people come out with is outrageous. Just today, I went on a run, brag, and this man shouted at me, "You got big tits," which you can't fault his eyesight, but it's a bit of a weird thing to say to someone, isn't it? At that point, it's less of a catcall and just more of an audio descriptive prompt. But I guess he's champion accessibility at the end of the day. A good deed's still a good deed. But do you guys want to know the weirdest catcall I've ever got? Yes. 7th of February 2021. I remember it well. Because I was walking down the street and I was wearing these baggy tracksuits and a big oversized jumper. And this man outside a Be At One, or Be A Tony as my mum likes to call it, he looked me up and down and without a second's hesitation just went, "Slag." This stuck out to me for a couple of reasons. First of all, why slag? I literally had about as much sex appeal as an incel at an NFT conference, The look wasn't exactly screaming, "Fuck me," but second of all, it was absolutely bang on. I am a bit of a slag, and despite all evidence, the contrary just hit the nail straight on the head, like the kind of Sherlock Holmes of the catcalling world. But here's the thing, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a slag. I think feminism's taken us very far, and I don't think Emily Davison threw herself under a horse just so that I'd hold out to the third date. But I think at the end of the day, being a slag is actually quite a lot like being a stand-up comedian. And this is like pretty meta, guys, so stay with me here. But I think you're only criticised for it if you're a woman. And despite my best efforts, the only gigs I get finish after 5 minutes. And on that note, I think that's my time. Thank you.
Yeah, give a round of applause.